The Bills are the fourth best team right now in the NFL. The Bills at 8-6 are number 4. They're number 9 in the AFC playoff rankings right now. They're number 4 in the league-wide power rankings.
Buffalo Bills playoff chances in 2023 are looking pretty good, and we can clearly see only one team in the AFC has clinched the playoffs, whereas in the NFC, they have 3 teams.
Number 3 on this list, up 2 spots. I'd put the Buffalo Bills third on my power rankings.
The Bills are in a 4-way tie with teams, if the season ended today, would make the playoffs. The Cincinnati Bengals at 8-6, the Colts with the same record, the Texans with the same record.
And I defy you to make a persuasive case for anybody behind them being in front of them.
I give
you
credit.
They just beat the Cowboys. Yeah. They just destroyed the Cowboys. The Eagles have lost 2 in a row. I know the Eagles beat the Bills, but that's been 3 or 4 weeks ago.
We all know the Miami Dolphins at 10-4, literally only 1 game behind the Buffalo Bills, and that we get to play them in Week 18, which will make up an additional loss.
I am putting an 8-6 team number 3.
Love it.
I love what they are doing. They are playing some of the best football in the NFL right now.
That means the Miami Dolphins only has to lose one of their next 2 games, one of which against the Dallas Cowboys, as well as the Baltimore Ravens. And why that is such a big deal, it's because the Miami Dolphins have not beaten a team above 500 dating back to early 2022. You could see it's been 406 days since the Miami Dolphins, or 24 NFL weeks since the Miami Dolphins has beaten a team above 500. The Miami Dolphins' alleged historic offense so far in 2023 scored a total of 51 points against the Bills, Eagles, and Chiefs, averaging 17 points per game. If you take a look at the New York Jets this season without Aaron Rodgers, the Jets' allegedly terrible offense has scored 61 points against those same teams, actually averaging 20.7 points per game. And that win against the Denver Broncos definitely skewed things. We know the additional baggage in that game with McDaniels coming from Denver, a lot of the coaches on Miami coming from Denver. I think it was their intention to definitely try to blow out the Denver Broncos, which they did, and also skewed their offensive stats. But when you look at the Miami Dolphins' total schedule this year compared to the Buffalo Bills, the Bills' schedule has definitely been a lot harder. Looking at the teams that they beat, including the Denver Broncos in Week 3, obviously we all know the Denver Broncos have definitely improved throughout the season, only being in Week 3 under Sean Payton. The LA Chargers, who we played this week, have not been so good this year. Then the Carolina Panthers, who have not been good this year, as well as the Tennessee Titans, who the Miami Dolphins just lost to at home, giving up a 14-point lead. Now the Bills, we had to travel to London and play the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are leading in this playoff race. Definitely a better team than I would say the Carolina Panthers, as well as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which I would say is definitely a better team than the Tennessee Titans. And the Bills had to play the Cincinnati Bengals, in which the Miami Dolphins didn't. Unfortunately, the Bills did not win that game. And we all know the Buffalo Bills Murderers Row and Gauntlet is pretty much over, going from the Cincinnati Bengals to Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos, that New York Jets defense, all the physicality that they present, as well as the Philadelphia Eagles, who we just barely lost to, then the Kansas City Chiefs, as well as the Dallas Cowboys. Losing to the Cincinnati Bengals, losing to the Denver Broncos, beating the Jets, losing to the Eagles, but winning against the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cowboys have set up the Buffalo Bills for a run into the playoffs. And the final 3 games for the Miami Dolphins are all teams above 500, and they have yet to beat a team above 500 dating back to early 2022. So I'm thinking the chances are very high here that the Miami Dolphins could very well lose each and every single one of these games, and really the Buffalo Bills only need the Miami Dolphins to lose one of their next 2 games and then beat them in Week 18. You know, the Bills have the LA Chargers, who they just fired their GM and head coach. Justin Herbert is on IR, which is definitely going to help out the Buffalo Bills. Then we have the New England Patriots, who have been absolutely dismal this year. They just placed J.C. Jackson, their cornerback, on IR, finishing his season. Ramondre Stevenson dealing with a high ankle sprain. And our guy here, Daquan Jones, is starting to practice. The 21-day window has opened, and you can listen to his comments. He specifically said he doesn't want to rush himself back out there, but you got to keep in mind, 21-day window, that's roughly 3 weeks. that would set him up to play Week 18 against the Miami Dolphins. I've been saying it for weeks. The easiest way to get into the playoffs is by winning the AFC East, which I just proved to you is totally plausible for the Bills. But the other thing starting to shape up here for Bills Mafia is the rest of the AFC picture. And some of the next matchups for teams ahead of us or tied with us in this playoff race are playing one another. The Cleveland Browns at 9-5, one game ahead of the Buffalo Bills, you could see are playing the Houston Texans, who are also ahead of the Buffalo Bills in this playoff race, who have the same record as the Bills. One of these teams will have to lose, which will definitely help out the Bills in the standings. And it's not just the Houston Texans. They have to finish the season out against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are also ahead of the Buffalo Bills in this playoff race. One of these teams will have to lose, which will ultimately help the Buffalo Bills. The Bengals, with the same record as the Buffalo Bills, have to play the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Kansas City Chiefs, and I already mentioned the Cleveland Browns. We all know without Joe Burrow, this is going to likely chalk up some losses for the Bengals, who are ahead of us in this playoff race. Indianapolis Colts, with Gardner Minshew just suspending Isaiah McKenzie and other players on that team, also has to play the Houston Texans the final week of the season, who are tied with the Buffalo Bills in this playoff race. Both of these teams are playing one another, and I've been saying it, one of them are going to have to take the L. Having the same record as these teams and knowing that one of them is going to have to take a loss should put the Buffalo Bills ahead. Now, the Bills do definitely have to win out against the Patriots, the LA Chargers, and the Miami Dolphins, which to me seems very reasonable. Facts are the Buffalo Bills could easily win the AFC East, just winning out for the rest of the year, having the Miami Dolphins lose to the Dallas Cowboys or the Baltimore Ravens. And I already mentioned they have yet to beat a team over 500 for more than a season, 24 weeks in the NFL. And the other teams that are tied with the Buffalo Bills in the AFC playoff picture have to play one another, which will guarantee losses to them and should traject the Buffalo Bills higher in the playoff standings. So the Buffalo Bills playoffs have never looked better. I am so hyped up for this season. We're going to LA this week, going to play the Chargers. Familiar town for Josh Allen. I'm sure he's going to have a lot of family and friends in that stadium. I mean, he just bought a $6 million house in Laguna Beach down the street from that stadium. So I think Josh Allen has proved himself in that stadium before. We're going to go there, completely ball out and cook up some James Cook.
Number 4, James Cook. He is amazing, and I'll say it again, he's playing like Christian McCaffrey.
We just stopped Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys. We know that we're going to be able to slow down Khalil Mack, without Justin Herbert, without a head coach or GM, even Dan Orlovsky admitting that he was on teams with interim head coaches, and majority of the time it did not work out so well. Bills continue to get healthier and healthier, everyone practicing. Yesterday's practice, including Micah Hyde, AJ Epinesa, Von Miller is continuing to get back. He's going from feet to inches to millimeters away from getting his first sack this season. And the Bills' overall defense has figured out things strategically as well as with the depth pieces on our team. Appreciate you guys all so much. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting like and subscribe for future content. Releasing videos every single day for your entertainment, as well as going live during every single Buffalo Bills game. If you want to support me further, I'd deeply appreciate it if you checked out the Buffalo Fan Shop link in the description for the Buffalo Chicken Wing merch. We have the Zoombaz style. We have this style here, long sleeve hoodies, small through 5XL with free shipping. Truly appreciate you guys. BNC attracts the best of the best within Bills Mafia. Let's go Buffalo and go Bills.